And if you were under a rock for the last 48 to 72 hours, we have a lot of news to discuss. And it is interesting because we are coming down to crunch time in the Oilers offer sheet drama week, we'll call it.
The era. End of an era.
End of an era. By tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Mountain Time, GM Stan Bowman and Jeff Jackson will have to officially make or have their decision made on what they're doing with the dueling offer sheets from the St. Louis Blues. And yesterday, we got a couple of pieces of news that kind of had me going in different directions. So let's jump into that. The news of the weekend, and let's start with trade number one. The Edmonton Oilers link up with the Vancouver Canucks, and they send a 4th-round pick, the one they got from the Ottawa Senators. So not their own 4th, but one that will be presumably higher up in that 4th round or earlier in the 4th round. That goes to Vancouver. Vasily Podkolzin comes back the other way. An interesting deal. He is a right winger, but he shoots left. So again, you would think he can move between the two sides. Podkolzin was originally selected 10th overall in the 2019 draft. Liam, who was taken just one pick before him? Was it Philip Broberg?
No,
that's yeah. Oh, 2 picks earlier.
Yeah,
two picks earlier. It was Philip Broberg, yes. But Podkolzin, you can see here his AHL numbers. You can see his NHL numbers. The NHL, obviously he wasn't developing the way the Canucks were hoping he would. And that is why the Oilers can get a guy who was a top 10 pick in the same year as Philip Broberg. Again, a while ago, but not an eternity ago. He's still only 23 years old. There still is maybe a bit to like here with the player, but you're able to get him for just a 4th-round pick. The other thing that's interesting in this is Podkolzin's contract. He has 2 more years at $1 million. So if this works, you get a value contract for a couple of seasons. If it doesn't, you put him on waivers, send him down to Bakersfield. The whole amount's buried, even if he doesn't get claimed. And there you go. Kind of who cares, I think, is what it is at the end of the day. Let's start with this deal before we get into its potential impact on the offer sheet side of things. This deal in a vacuum, do you like it?
I mean, why not, right? Like, what's the harm in it? Like you said, his contract is very team-friendly. How many 4th-round picks even make it to the NHL? You're getting a guy who's still relatively young, a change of scenery. The last Russian we had in here that needed a change of scenery did pretty well for us, Clem Shady.
Yeah.
So I don't mind the idea of it. I don't agree with, well, I don't want to go too far ahead of it. The trade, yes, I thought the trade was good. Then the potential is good. Then the Bakersfield condos are going to be great this year.
So you don't see Podkolzin, and we're going to have David Quadrelli is going to join us for a second straight Monday as well. Shout out to our boy Quads. You don't think Podkolzin has potential to impact this team at the NHL level?
No, I do. I just think, I don't think he's better than Savoy. I don't think he's probably on the same level as Lavoie. I'd assume the two of them fight for that spot on the Oilers roster this season.
It's fair.
I think he's going to spend time in Bakersfield this year. That's kind of my idea around it. I love the upside. This is a guy that every time he put on the Russian jersey, he was amazing at all these major tournaments they had. Came into the Canucks, had a solid rookie season, 14 goals, almost 80 games, I think. And it's just kind of not worked out well for him since then. But the potential's there. Maybe a change of scenery helps.
Greta Bar YouTube chat. DJ Bean is in. Is it the DJ Bean? Or as what happens in this chat, is it someone pretending to be DJ Bean? I don't know, but he says Canucks have had to have been positive that even if he played 82 games with McDavid, he'd never scored 10 goals in an NHL season again. So he's going to score 1 million goals. And listen, this is a guy who has had a bit of success at the NHL level. In his rookie season, he scored 14 goals, added 12 assists. Only 2 of those goals came on the power play. So I don't hate this trade at all.
No.
What I don't like is, yes, you could... If it means they're walking away from Holloway, I don't like it.
Me too.
If this is their justification for we let Dylan Holloway go, I'm not as much of a fan as it. If it's they just looked at it and went, hey, Vancouver's got this guy on the block. We think it's a decent reclamation project to take on, and there you go. Sure, I'm in on it. If it's, oh, we think he's better than Dylan Holloway, he's not. But he's cheaper, and you gave up a 4th, and if you let Holloway walk, you'll get a 3rd. So let's now look at it from that perspective. If the Oilers are viewing this as, we got Podkolzin, we gave up a 4th, the trade, you could say, is a $2.2 million Dylan Holloway and a 4th-round pick out, and in is $1 million Podkolzin and a third. Is that a good deal?
No, it's not a good deal at all.
Even with the cap savings?
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter to me. At this moment in time, the Oilers need to be winning hockey games, and reclamation projects are fine if they're not replacing your third line winger.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't think the Oilers need to have that. That's not a good deal in my eyes.
It's not.
They got to keep Holloway.
I agree.
If that's the idea, Podkolzin and Holloway.
But when that deal came down, it was the first move of the day.
Yes.
And we were sitting here going, okay, that probably means they're walking away from Holloway and keeping Philip Broberg in all of this.
Yeah.
And then we get the news later on that the Oilers have dumped Cody Ceci and the remainder of his contract. $3.25 million is what was remaining on Ceci's deal for one more year. A third-round pick in 2025 also goes to the Sharks. And coming back is a player by the name of Ty Emberson, who played with Dylan Holloway at the University of Wisconsin. A really interesting player. And we'll talk about Emberson in a little bit. But first, the offer sheet impact on this one. It's a little complicated, but it can basically boil down to this. If Evander Kane's going to miss the entire regular season, there is a path now with Ceci gone to the Oilers matching both offer sheets and being cap compliant. That's not insignificant. And it makes me think that, hey, maybe that Podkolzin deal. And you would think they knew that all these things were possible, but what if, just humor me, what if they made the deal of, okay, we got Podkolzin because we don't think we're going to be able to dump Ceci, prices are too high, we're letting these guys walk, and then all of a sudden at the last minute, San Jose goes, actually, we changed our mind, we'll take the deal. We'll give you Emberson, it's only a third, and the Oilers are sitting there going, oh shit, we have everybody. Like, I don't know. That wouldn't totally stun me. You'd think they, in all likelihood, would know. Like, again, when they made the Podkolzin deal, that there was a chance they could move on from Ceci. But there is a chance now they can bring everybody back, Liam. With Ceci gone, would you bring everyone back? Because Jason Greger is on Twitter right now saying there's no, even with this trade, he thinks there's a chance they might just run a right side next year. That's Bouchard, Emberson, Stetcher, Brown. That can't be it.
That would be crazy if they boldly did that. I mean, we've looked through the available players for upcoming free agents, and like, it's not a great class, is it?
Yep.
It's not like there's 4 or 5 guys waiting there to be picked off. At this point, if you're making that CC move, you have to bring him back, Broberg.
Yeah,
like you have to. The rumor kind of is too that Coffey really likes him. Broberg, that is. I think Emberson can actually play a good role in the NHL for this team.
Yeah.
I think he's probably better than Josh Brown, who makes the same amount of money for 2 more years after him. Crazy, whatever. So I could see Emberson kind of being a like for like for Cody in a similar Cody as if I know him. Cody Ceci in a similar way. So I don't hate that. And if the right side next season is Stetcher and Emberson, it probably isn't as terrible as we're making it seem, but it's definitely not an ideal situation. No. I just think bring them both back now. You've gone through the efforts of making these moves and build up the fan base a little bit. For them to keep Broberg over Holloway, something I honestly did not expect. But finding a defenseman like that is much harder than finding a forward. There's arguably now a 4 forwards in Bakersfield that are like Holloway.
Lavoie, Podkolzin, Savoy.
And we'll just say Ruby
Jarventi.
Yeah. NHL.
So here's how the Oilers roster shakes down right now. According to Puckpedia, they have 14 players, 8 defensemen, and 2 goalies on the active roster. That includes matching Broberg and matching Holloway. Okay, so in that calculation of 14, 8, and 2, they are $5.925 million over the cap. If Evander Kane goes on LTIR, you are down to 13 forwards, 8 defensemen, and 2 goalies. So what you could do is 13 forwards, send down Josh Brown. There's $1 million, and it rhymed. Bonus points. Send down Josh Brown, run a 13, 7, and 2 roster, and you're cap compliant by about $75,000.
Sorry, run that through me again. So you send down Brown, Emberson, and Ryan.
Yeah, Puckpedia puts this into very simple terms. If the Oilers match both offer sheets, they can be cap compliant to start the year by putting Kane on LTIR and sending down 1 player with an $801K or more cap hit.
Interesting.
And the other thing I do think you need to factor into all this is you're probably, because once you're in LTIR, there are certain rules about the bonuses that change. So Savoy needs to be on your opening night roster so that when you call him up, his cap hit is the minimum and not his bonus one of 1.8. So there is that too. So that's but that again, it's very simple to do. You waive Derek Ryan, you keep Savoy on the roster, then you flip-flop him the day the season starts. You send down one of Stetcher, Emberson, or Brown, and you are good to go.
Sounds simple.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.